Welcome to Color Folk and Anime, where we talk about anime from a colorful perspective. I'm your host, Lance. Some friends with me, of course, Chris.
Hi.
Jordan. And Malcolm with the Cinnabon.
Hello.
Because it's lit, you know.
Because we maxing out here.
All right, partying. How's everybody doing? Everybody good?
Chilling.
Good.
Chilling.
Having very deep philosophical conversations before the pod. Because why not? Why wouldn't you do it?
Because we are philosophical Negroes, right?
Right. Philosophical Negroes.
I'm an ignorant nigga.
You're a what?
Don't let nobody tell you different.
You're a
I
what?
said I'm an ignorant.
She's
nigga.
ignorant.
She's
That's
like,
what she said.
ignorant on the ground.
Ignorant.
Facts.
She's like, it be out here getting lit.
Right. Let's get into our first topic. So, word on the street, and the Fresh Prince himself, Will Smith, confirms this as well. That that there's rumors of his son, Jaden Smith, and I'll read his quote. Is possibly going to be in one of these universes. Now, it's rumored he's either going to be a sort of Spider-Man or possibly a Static Shock. I'll read. I have so many things to say about this. My son is preparing himself physically and mentally to get to a place as one of the characters who will make history for the first time in the saga of a movie that many already know and ask for, Smith said in the statement reported by Pop Time. How do y'all feel about this?
Terribly. I feel terribly about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's probably too early to jump the gun because I feel like Will Smith right now is being that dad that's like, oh yeah, my son this, my son that.
Right.
I'm like, bro. Like until something is officially announced that he's part of an actual project, like take everything with a grain of salt, because people get cast and stuff all the time. Stuff don't work out. People have
That's
ask Channing Tatum.
I was like,
yeah, right, exactly.
got your whole joint kid.
Revisiting the Gambit conversation. But no, yeah, I mean, what could I see Jaden Smith in the MCU at some point? I mean, probably. I mean, it's just another A-lister you throw in there. Do I like Jaden Smith as an actor? Not that much, honestly.
He was a good child actor.
Yeah.
I was like, he was a good Karate Kid.
Yeah, he was a good
He
Karate
was
Kid.
good in Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of
Pursuit of Happiness.
Well, yeah, he was like 3
I mean, he had like how many lines in the whole
He
thing?
had a lot of lines.
But he had a lot
He
of
was
emotional
excellent.
responses
That's true,
too.
he
in
did.
it.
He was very,
He was
very
really,
good
really
in
good in that movie.
Nepotism is going to kill Hollywood.
Nepotism was already in
also
Hollywood.
he was excellent
Right.
in that film. So if somebody decided to
But
take
we're-
a chance on him based off
How
of his
was
acting career,
was it After Earth?
After
I never
Earth.
watched it.
I heard it
Which
was
one was
bad. I
that
never
one?
watched it either.
That's the
That's
one
the
where
one where-
him and Will Smith get like shipwrecked on like a
Yeah.
planet together, and then they're like fighting. Like
And it didn't it end up being Earth or something like that?
it's Earth, but it's
Bro.
like Earth at like a
After
post-apocalyptic
Earth, if
Earth.
you will.
Yeah, right. It's a
Oh.
I see what
post-apocalyptic.
you did there.
Yeah, right. But like wildlife and animals have evolved like crazy, and so like literally everything is designed to kill humans at that point.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the premise.
I mean, I'm
It's alright. As far as sci-fi movies go, it's alright. It's not
Right.
great. It's not terrible. I mean, it's bad. It's not terrible. I love sci-fi. It's not great.
I've seen see, here's my thing. It's no disrespect to Jaden Smith, but this is like, I've seen him do everything regular. I've never seen him do any rap, acting. Then there's the fashion bit. I've never seen him do anything like well, if that makes sense.
Really? You think so?
I've never seen him do anything well,
Yeah,
other
he's
than
a
those
decent
kid acting
rapper,
things.
And his clothing line's not
His-
bad.
His rap, so that Icon song is great.
Yeah.
If you listen to that album, and maybe this is me.
I wouldn't do that.
This is
I wouldn't go
I
that
did, but I think my issue is like
Like, that's
rap wise, it's hard for me to listen to like rich kids rap because you make
You
up. Not
hate
that you
rich
don't have
people so
issues.
much.
You're a
It's
Jay-Z fan.
Hilarious.
Rich kids,
After
not
Rich
not
kids?
ex drug dealers.
When he
Ex
was
drug
rapping,
dealers
he
make
wasn't
sense
a
to me
kid.
for
He
some
was like
reason.
20.
Like she said, what?
He's not a
wasn't
kid,
Jaden
though.
Smith like 20
He
when he
said
started
rap
rapping?
is for poor
Oh.
niggas only.
That's
No,
how you get
Jay.
out the struggle.
No, when you listen to his music,
No one
Yeah.
else can express themselves. this
well, I'll
way.
say this: there are like
Kids
certain
need not apply.
Well, there all of these like there are certain rich kids. Diddy's kid, who actually he got some bangers, but it's still like
Who is he?
What are you even talking about? What?
What do you mean?
King
What
Combs.
are they talking
They're
about?
talking about their life.
Yeah.
That's not for me, and it's not entertaining. And
What?
You listen to Jay-Z.
that's not the same. You keep saying that. All Jay-Z talk about is art and when he used to sell drugs. He don't talk about like anything in between other than Beyonce Baby. But he doesn't talk about,
It is
man, look at my
kids.
life. It was so hard being rich.
Yes, he
Depressing.
does. He
No-
talk
He
about
talks
making
about how
big business
big-
deals and
yeah.
stuff all in his new stuff.
Yeah, but
And that we can't comprehend the stuff he's talking about because he's so much richer than we are.
but then he also will throw a drug bar back in there or whatever the case may be. That's
that
my
nigga ain't
point.
touched a drug in 20 years.
True. Neither has Pusha T. But he's, you know what I mean? Like,
Pusha T ain't rich. He ain't
well,
rich like that.
I mean, he ain't rich like
He ain't
that.
got it
But
like
like,
that,
I mean,
right?
he's richer than me,
I
but
mean,
he
you're
ain't
right,
rich like
more
that.
than all of us, but yeah.
But my point with like,
Pusha T look like the nigga that was still trying to sell some drugs.
facts,
He
facts,
probably
like he ain't never left the streets. Like,
right, facts.
Well, I'm still from here.
I'm
Yeah,
still out here, bro.
I still know what I'm talking about in these raps. People think that this is what the life is like now. But
No,
like,
but-
bro,
But that's my, I
Stop.
don't know.
I'm
That,
recording this in the studio
You
down the
can't
street.
find nobody to sell you a brick
anywhere
now.
and nowhere.
And
Gas
niggas
prices
still
too high
saying they
for all
buying
that. Like,
brick.
right.
what did you
You're
say?
gonna be doing drug
There's
deals
like
on
20
bicycles.
niggas
and
But
in the
like,
country
you went
buying
to
brick.
Colombia yourself to get a brick. Like,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
fuck
no,
talking
you.
about?
This isn't. No, but that's my. I don't know. My
Who
thing
the
with
fuck you
Jay.
going to see? Nobody. Who the fuck you going to see? Well, I'm in Milwaukee. Ain't nobody in Milwaukee selling bricks.
No, that's
Like
not.
maybe Florida, California, maybe New York. I
Well, the
highly
coast,
doubt
you
New York.
might be able to,
But you got to get that shit fresh off the boat.
and you
Like,
making
you can't-
coke rap during COVID. Come on, man.
Imagine how much like that slowed up like during COVID because of COVID.
all them
Listen,
shipping-
because of that, all the
all them
logistic
shipping
backups.
containers that got that
Could
got
you
backlogged.
imagine? Could you
All the
imagine?
drugs sitting
all
on
the
porch.
illegal activity
I'm
that
sorry,
slowed down.
I'm sorry, Mr. Drug Lord. You know, with the logistic backups right now, haven't been able to get our normal shipments
As long
in.
as,
You're
as,
gonna
long
be
as they
waiting
don't
a
double
month
check
for
the
that
cargo
crack.
Yeah, right.
while it's stuck in the harbor, we all right.
People
Stop.
just down in Colombia sweating while they're waiting for their drugs.
Right, they like, yo, this
sitting
is
in the port for like months.
Oh man. I don't know. Jaden
Well,
has
but-
nothing to
but
do with
I
any
will
of this.
say- I will say on another
is a
level,
tangent, for
then
sure.
Right.
why do you want to listen to rap from people that used to sell drugs about how they used to sell drugs that aren't relevant anymore?
Because
that's
they
why I
they
like
have really good
Jay-Z.
punchlines.
I'm
I'm
crying.
just saying they
But
have really
rich
good
kids
raps.
Can't do good punchlines.
No, but no, most can't because they have nothing to rap about.
What?
Name one.
You don't think that people that aren't poor have problems?
Name one. Name a rich kid that you
A
like.
rich kid that can rap.
I'm not as well versed in rap as y'all, but I
Or
also
R&B,
enjoy.
or
How many
country,
rich kids actually
or
come
pop.
out with? Waka Flocka.
Waka Flocka has said himself that he was trash. Even though I like Waka, he said it himself.
That's funny.
Nah, I was trash when I was making music. I just kind of finessed the game. But
Well, he was
like,
making hype music.
Yeah.
I used to call it screamo for black people.
no, yeah, I did appreciate it very much so. But that's my thing. I don't think it's like it's just hard. I mean, it's hard for him. But like Jaden Smith and like in general,
I don't know if
his-
hard is the right word. I think you just don't like that they're not talking about struggle.
I don't know about that, but like I think the problem
what
with
else could it be, though?
there are certain kind of rappers like Jaden that if you're not talking about much of anything, like what are you like? If you're not talking about anything moving people forward, any way that I can inspire people, what are you talking about? You're just talking about yourself. So I
Yeah,
like
all
I
rappers
All rappers
only talk about themselves.
not true.
Rap is
Kendrick Lamar doesn't talk about himself.
Jay-Z do.
You keep okay. We're past Jay-Z now. J. Cole is not a person that always talks about himself.
He talks about
there are people that have
himself 80%
larger
of the time.
narratives.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying? There's people that have larger narratives
That he
past
put himself
themselves.
in.
You said who?
That he put himself into. Jay-Z, or not J.
I
Cole
was like,
talks
I'm not talking about
himself.
Jay-Z.
Go.
J. Cole talks about himself 80% of the
Yeah.
time.
Sure. Well, I feel like, but even his music has shifted in a way that says, "Hey, I'm not only talking
Yeah,
about."
but he talks about himself talking about higher things and just niggas ain't up here yet. But they'll get up here because I'm here now. I love J.
I don't think
Cole.
I don't think Cole does that.
He does.
I think
I have
Kendrick
not
does that more than
listened
Cole
to
does that.
many
I don't think
rappers
Cole
that
does
aren't,
that.
like,
Cole
super
does it with a soft voice, so
narcissistic,
you don't take it that
That's
way.
I don't know.
I mean,
I
that's
feel
how
like
you got. I mean that's so ingrained in rap culture.
That's
Yeah.
all
just-
rap is.
That's what it is.
yeah.
It's just bluster and fluff. It's like, look, I'm gonna talk about me and why you niggas can't touch me, and that's it.
And then heal the ghetto, and then
Yeah.
not kill it again.
Right.
right.
Be like, You good?
Become part of the corporate machine.
right.
yeah, but I think again,
I
all
rap
that to
these
say-
drug bars to help my community.
Yeah, all I have to say is I don't think Jaden is I don't think he's terrible at much. I just don't think he's great at much.
I
And that's why
think-
when they pull up a Miles Morales role, that's what I'm
That's
concerned
better
about.
than-
In general,
I think it would be.
okay, go.
I think it would be better for Jaden to excel at a role that's not a character that we're all thinking about.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like if it's
That's what I'm
not-
saying. If
it's
you would've-
not
yeah.
Spider-Man, if it's not Miles Morales, if it's not Static Shock, I think people would be okay with Jaden being in the MCU
yeah.
as a different
Yeah.
character.
Well, Static Shock.
I think because
yeah,
What,
of course.
DC?
yeah.
He's
Is that
DC,
DC?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jaden playing one of those two characters would be polarizing.
He's too
Yeah.
old to play.
I don't even.
I- that's what I
think
thought.
It's that. I think it's because of. I think it's a reputation thing, because I don't think he has the reputation in the nerd community that people would want him to have to play those roles well.
I'm pretty sure he's some type of nerd, but
I'm sure he is too. He
Well,
made a
But
whole-
Miles-
he created
Miles
his own
Morales-
anime.
Right.
but
he made his own
Miles
anime.
Morales
But even
is
that, anyways.
Afro Latino.
Right.
And
Oh, there you
Static Shock is a nigga.
It's Hollywood.
Like,
man.
like
Yeah, I
like,
will say, I will say
Jaden
that
Smith
for
don't
me,
give off nigga
Jaden
vibes.
I
could
want-
pass
This
for
is
I
my
want-
point. This
I
is my
want
larger
Miles
point.
Morales to be played by an Afro Latino boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just would.
It's a
Right.
few people they've been
Just
pitching
because
that
there's
I've liked.
Not many roles for that specific. Like we talk, like
Yeah,
that's
that's
a huge.
I don't
thing
think Miles
anyway.
Morales should be anything but animated right now because of Into
Yeah.
the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
I think that's the
yeah.
only thing that's like
unless with the multiverse thing, it's a cameo thing. I can
Yeah.
handle him doing a cameo role, not like a full movie role. So like
yeah.
one of the rumored things they were talking about was it was going to be one of the like he was going to be playing like the Into the Spider-Verse live version or something like that. I'm like, I can handle something like that, like a blip or a cameo.
Right,
or
right.
very
Especially if
small.
Not
it's
like,
like-
a main MCU role.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Like a canon role.
Yeah, but I couldn't follow him. I was
Sure.
yeah.
I can dig it.
But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Shout
It
out to the
does,
Smith
yeah.
family.
I don't think he has the
I don't think he
kind
has
of,
the
like,
charisma.
comic booky charm
Yeah, I don't
that either
yeah.
of those characters have.
yeah. And that just takes
At
a
least
certain
wouldn't
kind
be
of person.
believable, just based on the roles he's played before.
Right.
Yeah. Where and you never know. Maybe
Yeah, you
mean,
just never
people
know. Yeah,
grow
that's the
and
thing.
change as actors all the time. And he's
True.
still quite young.
Yeah.
So maybe he could switch it up.
And it
but-
may be a blessing and a curse that he hasn't been in a lot of things, because you might be
There
like,
we go.
oh, damn, Jaden, what?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's just that I've never
It'll
done
be
that.
his,
So that's my
Yeah, right,
concern.
yeah,
It's
right.
like, dang, I've
It'll
never
be his Heath Ledger role.
Pretty
where
much,
People
yeah.
are like, oh shit.
He can act.
Like,
It's
this
like-
is, he can act.
It's like this reminds
Very
me of that
well.
when he was a baby.
Right.
let's
Yeah.
let's talk about this Miss Marvel trailer that came out. We all watched it.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
what did y'all think of it?
It looks
It
Fun.
It
Comic
looks
book
good
accurate,
and
too.
fun, but if you're
well
true to the
comic book accurate.
if you true
Yeah.
to look wow, if you're true to the comic, if you want to be that, it is definitely not that as far as her powers.
Yeah, her
But-
powers
yeah,
are not comic book
Because I
accurate at
read,
all.
I was reading an article yesterday about that, where they changed her powers.
Yeah.
She's like
Because-
Superman-ish.
Because they said
almost right
No,
now.
And
not
this,
that.
she's
not
in
that
the
they,
show.
They changed her expansion and stretching ability because
Yeah.
they said
Yeah.
it's too close to Mr. Fantastic.
yeah.
because they want to
People
do
would
the
be
Fantastic
confused,
Four
right.
movie.
Yeah.
And not only that, but her origins are with the Inhumans, and the only the only thing that's brought Inhumans into the forefront has been
That terrible show.
that wasn't terrible.
It's pretty bad.
Has been Agents of Shield,
yeah.
and so because
A lot
don't
of people,
want
they got a
to-
kind of cult audience though.
Yeah.
Agents
Who?
of Shield.
I
Agents
watched.
of
No,
Shield.
I
the
wasn't
whole
talking about
thing.
Agents of
No,
Shield.
the Inhumans
That's what
show.
I'm
Agents
saying.
of
Oh,
Shield.
yeah.
Oh,
Agents of
no.
Shield is good.
Agents
Yeah.
of Shield.
No, I was talking. Agents of Shield was
that's what
cool.
I'm
Agents
talking
of
about.
Shield's good.
Agents of Shield brought the Inhuman thing to the forefront.
Yeah.
Their
Yeah.
last like 3 seasons were almost completely about Inhumans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so unless they want to kind of make that canon, which they might be because they're getting the property back. They're
not.
going to put it on Disney Plus.
You don't think they
I
will?
don't think that
No.
they will either.
They were supposed to. Vin Diesel was supposed to be Black Bolt.
Who?
Oh,
What?
I'm not talking about
Vin
Inhumans.
Diesel.
I'm talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh yeah. I think that's
Yeah.
supposed to be back canon or something like that.
I don't know if they're
Yeah.
going to make it canon, because if they did, then they could use that as the jumping off point for her. But it sounds
They've
like
kinda
they're
made
not
it a
going to
point
do
to
the
not.
Inhuman
Yeah.
thing for her story.
Oh no,
at
they're
all.
not. She has
A
the
bracelet.
quantum
Yeah.
bands.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks like, so that was the original. No, that was Quasar. That wasn't. He looked like Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But that
I
was,
think the vibe
Quasar
matches
thing.
though.
Yeah,
The vibe matches.
The vibe,
It's
the story.
super, it looks like it's gonna be so like
Yeah.
fun and
Like a
quirky,
fun
like
teenage
she
story.
is. Like
it's cool too that in the trailer that you're already getting a little bit of piece of her cultural background
Yeah.
too, which I
Yeah.
think is really cool.
yeah,
Because I think it's cool that Marvel is exploring the cultural identities of its characters now.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And like I was
They
reading an
become
article about
much
Moon
more
Knight about that too,
diverse.
because people were mad that Moon Knight is in the comics he's Jewish,
yeah,
and they were like, "Well, Oscar Isaac's not Jewish."
right.
But then people were like, "No, actually, his dad or somebody is like half Jewish or full Jewish.
Yeah.
One of his parents or grandparents is
And
Jewish."
You gotta
Jewish
use
rules are
the-
the same as black rules.
Yeah.
Right. I was gonna
Them
say,
yeah, right.
Them
Like,
right.
usually
you quarter
there.
black, that counts.
Yeah,
That
right,
counts.
Right? Your mama Jewish?
Right.
Mazel tov.
Yeah.
Right.
You got one drop, you good.
Right.
Right.
Right. right.
But I think that's cool that Marvel is exploring cultural identities of its characters,
Yeah.
and not just like as kind of like a pass,
Right.
like a pass.
And
at
it makes
wokeness,
it
but,
less like trivial too,
Yeah.
where it's like she's not like a token, like that's everybody. This
Yeah.
forced diversity. They're making a brown girl.
Yeah.
Like it's like no, like they're actually like respecting who she is as a person
Yeah.
and like kind of like exploring like what about her cultural identity makes her journey as a superhero
Yeah.
different from other ones, which makes her story more interesting than your run of the mill white guy superhero.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, the people that are like, no, their cultural identity, those are the people that think ketchup is spicy. So, I mean, we just
That's
Yeah.
funny.
I think
because
I
people of color know, like, all right, this is more than lip service. It's like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
needs
yeah.
to be told.
Yeah.
because you can't separate the character from the cultural identity.
Mm.
Because-
yeah. And I do appreciate too, like everything in Marvel is like dark now, which is fine, I guess.
It-
But this is like kind of
I don't know about everything, but it's getting there.
It's trending.
I don't
more
really
for
know
sure.
it's not
It's Disney
that's
dark.
current.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
It has,
Yeah, Disney dark. I'm not. I don't
Well, I
mean-
can't wait for Moon Knight. Moon Knight looks dark.
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I'm.
true.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's
like,
true.
Amazing. That forearm
can't
vein.
wait.
Is
But I
Yeah.
think that's kind of why they're willing to bring in the Netflix joints too,
yeah,
because they're like on the edge of what
Yeah.
the Netflix series are.
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's gonna give them the ability to go darker with some of the other stuff too, like the Star Wars properties and
Sure.
other Fox stuff that's been kind of like, we own you, but
Well-
like we're gonna just push
well,
you
also-
in the back.
Right, yeah.
Superheroes are violent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's at the core of what a superhero. And if you're gonna bring
Like,
in
even
the
if they
X
don't
Men
kill, they still
with somebody
busting
like
people up.
Wolverine,
Right.
Well, and
You need
destroying,
to be violent.
public property to the point where it's like, how might as well just kept the villains, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, that's like in
Super-
I was gonna say, what is that?
no, the Will Smith joint.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hancock.
Hancock.
Oh, where
Yeah,
there was
that's that
actually a
scene.
failed show that DC came out with. It was about an insurance agent that covered superhero damage.
That sound fire
It was
though.
like a
I would
comedy.
watch
It
that.
had-
That would work now
the
though.
pilot
that would,
failed,
That
though.
would
Yeah,
work
that
now.
would work in
So
Well,
they
they
were like-
did Super Crooks and
Yeah.
the boys.
the boys,
Obviously.
which yeah,
Well, I mean, and they kind of hark back to it in
Which
like
is
the
coming out with another season.
Bet-
Watch
what was
that
it?
shit.
Yeah, except
in
Homelander
the
got
Superman
arrested in
movie.
Spain.
yeah.
Like he took down Bruce Wayne whole tower fighting Zod. It's
Right.
like people died.
Yeah,
And he
right.
broke,
Right.
like,
It's like so much for that. I don't kill people.
Yeah,
bullshit.
no,
like, nah.
you,
you kill like
Like,
a
you
you
thousand.
killed,
Like,
but I was like, you
people
killed more people than you probably could have.
But I mean,
Don't-
so
don't-
you know,
don't-
Because they touch on that a little bit in
Invincible
Hawkeye.
tried
Yes,
to
they
pull
do.
that
In Hawkeye,
lady
too,
out
yeah.
of the building, and he just got her arm.
Oh yeah,
I
Yeah.
can't unsee that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, but that's why I
That's true.
appreciate. That's why I think Miss Marvel is gonna be a good breath of fresh air. I think.
I think so.
It looks super fun.
it
Yeah.
does. Yeah,
It does.
Yeah.
It looks like the school the school and the interactions remind me of Napoleon Dynamite,
I love
like
her.
that awkward
Yeah,
high
yeah,
school
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Her and the guidance
spaciness.
counselor, she was like, "Do we have to figure out my whole life now, or like,
Yeah.
can we do that later?"
Like after class.
Yeah, like stop. Like I'm not here for all that right now.
That's
Like
so
I have a
relatable.
whole.
I think I appreciate that about
Yeah.
kids nowadays, where they're like, "What is this bullshit? I'm an adult when I'm 18.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
go
right.
flap my wings and fly." Like,
Nah.
y'all act like y'all prepared me for that shit in
Yeah.
any
It's
way.
like y'all act like y'all 30, y'all know what's going on anyway. Like,
You're not gonna have enough money to make any difference at
No.
18. So like, why are
right.
we treating you
As
like?
long as you don't act like you own the house while you here, I'm fine with you.
Right,
doing that.
right.
That's facts.
That's that weird adolescent kind of.
Yeah,
Gap
because
now that we
wanna
have.
give
You got a
them, like,
job.
they need to learn how to be independent. But if
Yeah.
you don't prepare them for independence
Yeah,
before you shoot them out your house, you're setting them up to fail.
yeah.
And I think kids have more awareness of that now.
I 1000% agree,
It
and I
don't matter if the
appreciate it.
kids got awareness of it. Their parents need awareness of it.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, but
that's
in the
true.
sense of like they have like better conversations with the adults in their lives about like what they're realistically going to be able to do when they leave. Where for us, we just accepted that I'm an adult when I'm 18 and I got to just like figure it out.
True.
And so we
Mhm.
failed
True.
so much because of it and weren't able to get to maybe where we wanted to be. When
I mean,
we're
the only
by this
difference is,
age.
well, I mean, you'll have more money, but you'll fail at 25 instead of 18. That's the only
Right.
difference.
Right,
No,
but like
You'll be
no,
a-
I think
you'll be a little
but I feel
more
like
mature
parents
when
in
you
a
fail.
general
Right.
sense-
Well, that's fine. That's
I mean, that's
some-
way better.
That's some
but to say that it's gonna help them not fail.
No, what I'm saying is that I think parents in a general sense, they want to help their kids. I'm gonna sneeze. They want to help their kids. So when the kid has like a genuine conversation with their parents about like, yo, like I know you want me to leave, but like also I'm gonna need help. And then you have those like open, candid conversations because you remember those parents are like they're not us, but they're like people not
Yeah.
that far off of age.
Yeah,
from
still
us.
in the same.
So they're
yeah.
also well aware of what's going on in the internet and being able to have that cultural reference, the same one that their kids do.
Yeah.
So they're also realizing that if I don't actually help my kid become an adult, they're not going to be a successful adult.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree
Well,
with it.
kids are. I would say kids nowadays are smarter, but I think they might be less mature
I love the,
because
there's-
they're not allowed to bump their head as
Yeah, I
much
was gonna say
as
book
older
smart
generations.
versus like that life experience.
But
smart.
they are like ways like they're way smart. They know more.
yeah.
Right.
There's this song by JoJo called American
Sons of
Mood.
Avenger.
Called American Mood, and one of the lines in the song says like
God
I
dang it.
like being an American or whatever. I'm well informed and ignorant at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, nothing speaks more true.
Yeah.
right.
Especially now.
Because it's like I know a lot about a lot of shit, but like that doesn't mean that like I'm still ignorant about the things that even I think I know, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Facts.
Anyway.
You know nothing, Jon Snow. Bringing out all the references.
Let's talk about it. We're here. Main topic. We all saw the new Batman movie.
Yes.
I feel like a million different ways about it. But the first thing I wanted to ask before we get to anything, because we talked with last time we talked about Batman, we talked about essentially a whole catalog of Batman movies. How does this rank up, compare to any of the other Batman movies? High, mid, low?
For me, it's 2 to 1989, and
So
I
you
get
think it's the second best Batman movie?
second best Batman,
Mm,
and then Dark Knight is third, like a super close third.
yeah.
I mean, for me, out of all the Batman movies I've seen, it's my favorite.
Yeah. I probably am third. I think I like Dark Knight better than this one. But it is up there. It's definitely in my top 5. Like if I go back and look at everything, it's definitely in my top 5.
I think, and obviously we'll talk about this too. I think, although I like Heath Ledger's Joker villain, the cinematography of this movie, like how dirty it feel, it feel like I've never been in New York,
Me neither.
but this definitely
did
feels
very
like
much feel like
exactly
New
what
York.
that looks like.
Felt like New York and Chicago had a
Exactly, Chicago. Like
Yeah.
when you see all them
And they grew up in the
underpasses, that's
streets.
what it reminds me of
I
Chicago.
think that's the good thing about like DC having fictional cities. You
Yeah,
don't have,
Yeah, that's true.
you can the
can
city
tweak
has
it,
its
yeah.
own
Yeah.
identity
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
matching with something in real life.
yeah.
that's
Gotham
true.
looked mad, like real sketchy. Like I was like,
Yeah,
it-
like people niggas get mugged every day.
Yo,
Right.
like, and so I think that's I will put it. I'm putting it 1 because I don't feel like any Batman movie has gotten a
That
aesthetic,
feel, right?
feel. It's always feel campy, which is work for like the different Gotham
Right.
movies,
It's a comic book.
right? But this is like.
Yeah,
We would act if
Yeah.
you go too far in certain parts of Indiana or certain like Chicago.
right.
I would probably run into this like these different
Yeah.
spots that they had at the wrong time of day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and it was interesting because I was talking to somebody about that, about like the whole cinematography piece and all that, and like the way the movie looked. Like if you took Batman completely out of this movie, it's still a really good looking movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's still a really interesting movie. Like,
yeah.
the movie looks really good.
Well, let's talk about that because we also talked a little bit too about the different Batmans and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And this I guess I'll break this up into 2 questions. How does in regards to Robert Pattinson, how does he live up to his Bruce Wayne persona and his Batman persona? I was conflicted.
Listen, I had to keep self-correct, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons why I'm like, okay.
Because I was
don't
right
know
too,
yet,
by the way.
Because
We'll talk about that.
We'll
talk about that.
I had to keep reminding myself, okay, this is year 2 Batman.
Yeah.
Had to keep coming back to that. Okay, this is year 2 Batman, and I think that
Sure.
the ending made me feel better about him.
Yeah.
Because it was about, he was still learning and growing who he was as a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And so he starts to understand the importance of like him needing to be hope to
Not
people.
even just as a hero, as an actual person.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was so great because it's like, this is year 2 Batman, and this showed his foundation to like his thought process as a hero.
Mhm.
And his relationship with Alfred obviously was just like,
That was
not my fucking dad until the very end when
Yeah.
he realized like,
Right,
oh, I care
right.
about this man and he been here
Yeah.
watching me and stuff. So that's why I liked it, because it was like, this is year 2
Yeah.
Batman, and this is the type of shit that
that he
would
would
happen.
have to figure
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Well, and just not just that, but like the idea of like so we talked a lot about like Batman is both Bruce Wayne and Batman, and that was a lot of things that normal characters get wrong about him. And I think that this film explores that struggle really well, because he does start out the whole thing trying to reject who he actually is as a person, who Bruce Wayne is completely. Like, I am vengeance. Like, that's just his thing. But then what he ends up noticing, he only notices 2 things. One is that kind of like vengeful attitude was creating people like the Riddler and the people that followed him, but also that who he is as Bruce Wayne, as the privileged, rich kid that he was. One, reality check. But also that there's stuff that like I could do well as Bruce Wayne, as who I actually am too. And he starts to understand the kind of what that might look like.
I think this was like, so I love Batman animated series. That's the best Batman anything that will ever be made.
For sure.
But
For sure.
in the animated series, which I like with this, Batman is the cause of all his villains in the cartoon.
Yes.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
And so they played into that in the movie, where his neglecting Bruce Wayne and his dad's legacy and focusing solely on Batman allowed corruption to take hold.
Yep.
And then the people that are tired of the corruption to root up, and he's literally the reason that the city has gotten worse.
Yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is I said that Batman is a head case. And I said this, and y'all was like, "Nah, he's a playboy. He's like,
what? No,
No,
that
we
was
that was
Yeah,
backtracking.
you can
y'all
play
are
that
backtracking.
back, and
Y'all,
I
no,
would say be the
there's
same
literal
thing.
proof. So
I said he was
hypothesis.
dealing
Let me
with
finish.
trauma. Go ahead,
Let
go
me
ahead.
finish. But my hypothesis was this leaves him unhinged a little bit, unsettled a little bit, and the whole movie. And this is what Robert Pattinson said he tried to portray him as was Batman is trying to like wear Bruce Wayne as and be Batman and struggle with that. And I said, yo, that sounds like a mental instability. That sounds not normal. That sounds like he's almost as crazy as the people that he's inspiring, like the Riddler, Future Joker, all that sort of stuff. And so I got y'all got me flack. Y'all, but it's cool if you want to catch amnesia.
No,
That's fine. That's
nobody,
okay.
No, Batman.
That's okay.
We said Batman
dog.
is traumatized.
That's what I'm saying.
He's handling his trauma.
That's how this is. Batman is how Bruce Wayne handles the trauma that happened to him when he was a child.
Right.
That's what we
and
said.
that's why I said with this movie, I had to keep checking myself like, this is year 2 Batman.
Right.
He hasn't gotten to the place of the Batman that
he hasn't
I
resolved
know.
himself yet.
Right. So
as a
when
hero.
I'm talking about resolved Batman, I'm talking about he is both people and you code switch your trauma. Do you remember me saying that?
No.
That you code switch your trauma?
You didn't
Yes,
say that.
I did.
Nah.
Yes, I did.
Hey,
I said
you got to
that
pull a
people-
clip on that one.
No, I said that people that deal with their trauma when they're younger, as they mature and kind of settle with it, they learn how to code switch themselves, where you can be both the charismatic playboy and the dark brooding like person, and that still both be who you are as a person.
Right.
But
right.
you're just because I went through something as a kid doesn't mean every moment in my life is gonna be this sad person.
No, I agree. But I think
that's
like
what I said in the episode when we were talking about it.
Sure,
So,
but y'all also predicted Batman to be a little bit different than what he ended up being for year 2 Batman.
because I underestimated how deep they were gonna go into this idea of him of an early Batman stage.
Which I appreciate.
He wasn't resolute as I know Batman.
But he also didn't know who he was as a person.
Yeah,
Right.
which I agree.
He thought well,
we didn't really know.
He thought he
was.
was. He had to reject him being Bruce Wayne in order to help the city fully.
Yeah.
And then he sees that, well, my family wasn't shit, and then all this shit happened because I wasn't Bruce. So he was fighting with that, and at the end he kind of resolved himself.
We'll talk about the end of the movie too. I take some issue with it, but I
did love the Riddler though.
Yeah,
the Riddler was dope.
Good.
I like, you know what it is? I like the Riddler a lot because it was a believable Riddler. It's just a weird villain compared to all like the great villains.
You never seen Batman Hush or read Batman Hush?
Mm-mm.
This is basically Batman Hush.
Yeah.
Riddler was.
I guess I'm talking about the actor. I guess the
actor I thought was perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't, but it was just different compared to all of the other big name.
I think that's why I loved the Riddler in
think
Gotham.
You said
I didn't watch
in Gotham, the TV
Yeah.
series,
Yeah.
he's got that same, and I was like that. He was one of the reasons why I liked the television series.
Sure.
Yeah.
That, and I was just following the dance career of the little girl that plays Catwoman. I love her, just as she's a great dancer. Anyway,
Yeah.
but like that he felt perfect to me.
He was perfect, and he was him being unassuming. Fit.
Yeah.
Right,
I
that was the
appreciated
point
that.
when he's like, "Who are you? I'm nobody. Like literally, I'm a nobody."
Or he's like, I don't have the physical capabilities to do the hard shit
right
that I got you to do for me.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, "What do you mean? I told you bring him into the light, and I shot him.
and
That's why
also-
we agreed
Yeah,
to
right.
this, didn't we?"
We did this together.
And also, I like that. So one of the big things is that, when they were in the interrogation room, one of Riddler's things is he needs to outwit Batman.
Yeah.
And this scenario sets a foundation for that type
Especially when he goes,
And
"Oh,
that
you're
type of
not as
thing.
smart as I thought you
Like,
were."
and
I
he-
put it
but
right
like-
there.
And he does, which is kind of crazy too,
Yeah.
because it's like you expect at least the last, which I'll talk about the last hour of the movie last, but the last hour of the movie is like, oh, he did it. Like he did exactly everything he
Right.
said he was gonna do, destroyed the entire city. Freaking what is that? What's the last days? End of days, that movie
Yeah.
where all the different apocalyptic stuff happened.
When
I was
Bruce
like,
thinks
oh.
that he found out his identity, he was like,
He
"Well,
sweat
guess
bullets.
it's up for me."
He's like, I mean, all right, since we here, and he's like, yeah, Batman. He's like, what?
Wait.
Yeah.
Batman,
Don't we hate him?
Batman was like, do I gotta kill this nigga?
Right.
Yeah, right. He thought about it for a second. He's like,
He did.
Yeah.
Don't have to break my
how
rule
am I
for a
gonna
second?
sneak in Arkham? And
Right. He was like,
Yeah,
do
right,
I
right.
destroy Delee was like, do I destroy that thing before they get the password and find out who I am?
yeah,
It's like,
no,
what?
I did appreciate the Riddler for sure though. Like that was like,
Yeah.
it was interesting.
Best Catwoman?
That's my next thing I want to talk about. Let's
feel
talk about
You
this.
gotta think it's a young Catwoman too.
Yeah.
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 She definitely looks the part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I didn't hate again, and I was talking about nepotism before. I didn't hate Zoe Kravitz in this at all. I just think that I don't know, some weird things going there. Like they were like, so I don't know if y'all paid attention. She had like the cat
Yeah.
the nails,
The nails,
cat
yeah.
nails,
Yeah.
which are actually like was mostly accidental. Wasn't like written in the original script. That she kind of was like, I was growing my nails. What do y'all think about this? It did kind of let it fly
Yeah.
while she was recording. I don't know. I think like I don't mind her as a young Catwoman. I didn't mind it. I don't think like the script lended her anything else other than what it was. So it wasn't like she was a dynamic character at all.
No,
But that's okay.
Well, dynamic. She was.
I don't like that they made
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think so.
mobster her dad.
They didn't make
That was
Mr.
weird.
D's
no.
butler
They
her
didn't make-
dad. I don't know if I
That's
like
not,
that.
is that
Not-
comic book accurate?
Stop it. That's
You said
immediately what I
what?
thought when I saw him. I
Said
was
what?
like,
Oh, that's the nigga
What?
from Mr. D's. That's Sector 7.
Oh,
No, the person
That's
I thought
a
of was I
Sector
thought of
7
old boy from Transformers. That's the
Yeah,
first place
that was the second
that's
thing.
that's the first place my mind went. I
He
was
should-
like,
I
he
was
should-
like,
oh yeah,
wait,
he's in
he's the
everything.
mobster?
That
He should have been like,
when
when
I can't even
she
take it
got
too
in there, he
seriously.
should have
Yeah.
been like very sneaky.
yeah. No, I don't. But no, I disagree. I don't think her character was extremely dynamic. But I think that's fine. I think that's the point of Catwoman.
What?
It's
I'd
like-
argue that her character had more development than Bruce Wayne and Batman did.
I'm gonna say this about Batman. I forgot to say this before we moved on for Batman. I will say that I feel like Batman, which is fine. Batman got out of the way so that the entire story of the movie can kind of live.
What?
No,
I don't know about all that.
Yeah,
about
I mean-
that either.
If you think about all of the things that kind of like the mobster, the corruption, the Catwoman bit, like the Riddler's kind of journeying, what do you want to call it? Him taking it through this whole movie. I don't feel like that Batman was terrible. I don't feel like Robert Pattinson was terrible, but I feel like he did a good job of letting the story develop. And I'll say that like the story was kind of bigger than any. Just
Well,
it was
a detective story. He was the
Right.
detective in the detective story.
Right, but he wasn't the most important factor in the detective story. Is what I'm
The
saying.
detective is always the most important factor outside of the person committing the crime.
Have you watched a lot of like the detective noir type of movies?
Yeah.
Like Silence of the Lambs and all that.
Yeah. And so, but that's I guess my point. And I'm not saying this as a knock. I'm saying that like
It had a story. It had a good
it had
story.
a good
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
It had a big story is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But I don't, which is fine. But I think like, but anyway, sorry. Pivot back to Catwoman. I mean, I think she did fine. I didn't have no issues.
I thought
no
she did
beef
really
with
well.
her.
I thought she looked good. I thought she looked good as,
looked very
as the
good.
character. I thought
I'm
she did a really
crying.
good job.
I'm single. I can say that.
Yeah.
Bro, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
that's not what I meant by
I know
that.
that's not what you meant.
Not
That's what I
by
meant.
that.
I'm talking for myself.
See, but then you say that, and then people are like assuming like, oh, Jordan meant the same thing.
Right.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
No,
I didn't.
Yeah.
No,
I
no,
thought she
but I
was
felt
good.
like from what, because again, not a huge comic book nerd, like never really read comic books growing up. From my mental interpretation of Catwoman, she looked like Catwoman to what I would think Catwoman looked like.
Yeah. The only thing I didn't like about it is that the infatuation grew too quick on the Batman side for me. The Catwoman side I kind of get.
Yeah.
I actually felt like it grew too quick on her side.
Okay.
In general, their relationship, like, that romantic
Yeah.
part grew too fast for me.
It's just I don't know. I saw it being over the span of a few movies. It's usually how it is.
Well,
I expect her
think-
being
well,
like
I felt like it was okay for her to be that quick because it's like, ooh, challenge, new
Right.
thing.
Right.
For him, it's like you gonna go to this brooding, hate everybody do to now this chick is you just
Right.
yeah.
oh my god,
Right, you
look
just,
at
Yeah,
like,
Change
you've been
your
that's
searching
what
searching
you
for
said. Like
it.
that's I would agree with that. Like his development into that was like all of a sudden y'all
Yeah,
like make it
they're-
out.
they're
Like
romantic.
what happened?
Right.
I definitely feel like they did not write their romance because like Batman and Catwoman is one of the most like prolific love stories in all of comic books.
Yeah.
Period. Their relationship is one of the most kind of profound to me.
Mhm.
And it's also usually, and I don't know if they'll take it. It's usually complicated.
Yeah.
Usually
Well, it's
extremely
forbidden
complicated.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're on opposite side. Like she's always gonna be, stealing from the rich.
And when
Yeah,
they
anti-hero,
when they're
yeah.
about when things she's gonna change, or he's like, something happens
Something
Yeah.
and
always
messes it up,
happens.
Yeah.
and they have to go their separate ways.
So like for me, it was just like I don't think that they wrote the romance between, like, they had good chemistry for sure, but I think the romance written between them, especially two people that are as guarded as they are,
Yeah.
to just like
Yeah.
fall for each other, like especially with him having the upper hand that he knows her secret
See, now
identity.
this is the thing.
Like,
Yeah.
So I thought she was gonna be part of the setup with the Riddler, because when she was helping him out a little bit more
Yeah.
at the
It
end.
seemed
you
like
thought the
it.
Riddler
Because if
included
I
her on
remember
purpose?
correctly, I think in Hush, she was part of it.
yeah.
Like she was
The
in
whole
on it
thing.
trying to get Batman.
Yeah, like,
Oh.
or no, not trying to get Batman, but she's about the money.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It was an opportunity she couldn't pass up, and
Yeah.
he's a plaything. He would
Sure.
be a plaything.
And
That's what I thought they were gonna
Yeah.
Yeah.
do towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll see. We'll see how the next one
I mean,
turns
you know,
out.
like, apparently, there's supposed to be 2 more. It's another
Yeah.
trilogy, so
Yeah,
I
and
thought
then
they
there's
were
some
flirting
spin-offs
with the
and
idea of
stuff.
a trilogy. I fucking want people to stop.
I'm okay
I
if
can
this
do
is the
one more.
I think the
Where-
intrigue
where
with like
where he's in
Riddler,
his own.
and
Well-
Joker becoming friends in Arkham is something I definitely
And-
want to see in the TV show.
and I
I
also
want to see
like
it in the TV show. I don't know that I need another movie.
yeah, and also like dang, am I scrolling? I also like who I didn't know that was it Colin?
Yeah, Colin
I didn't
Farrell.
know that was him.
No.
As
Oh,
long
you
as
mean
he
as
did
the
it,
Penguin?
Yeah, I was like, you
Yeah.
look nuts,
Yeah.
which is
They-
great.
It's crazy. Yeah.
But like, I would
they
like
should win
to
a
see a
makeup,
movie where he's fully developed as
They should
like
win an Oscar for makeup.
Yes.
for
Between
sure.
him and even
Oh, that's the other thing. This
even
movie's
Mr.
not winning
Dees
no
Butler.
awards,
Yeah.
nerds. I need everybody to like the acting in the story and all. Like it, maybe cinematography would get some recognition. Maybe they get.
But that's why I said
nominated for
makeup.
that.
I think makeup could get, or
Maybe,
wardrobe.
Maybe,
Yeah, I just thought-
not
I was like, Colin
wardrobe.
Farrell?
Wardrobe,
What?
wardrobe, I don't think
You
so.
didn't think
Makeup,
wardrobe?
maybe.
The eyeliner on Robert Pattinson. though?
Crying.
Why
mean,
is it
that's
so
what-
thick?
I saw a
Because
really
it's
funny
the
TikTok video.
football stuff.
About him going to
No, I
to
saw-
Sephora.
No. I saw a TikTok yesterday. It was a girl and she runs into her bathroom and the caption says when the bat sign comes on and she like has a little makeup pad and she's like spreading this black stuff on her eyes real quick and then she runs
What's the
out.
football stuff? So, yeah.
That was really funny.
I don't know.
That was really funny.
I did like his suit.
Yes,
No,
Susan
for
Knight,
sure.
the
Suit-
batarang.
yeah, the suit-
being-
The batarang
yeah,
band
that was
thing.
cool.
Yeah.
Suit was
And I
hard.
like his gauntlets.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
the
like
gauntlet's
it's
fun.
like good but not refined.
I
And
love that, like, it's like you
And they made him
cannot hear-
bulletproof.
You can't hear him until you hear him, and when you do hear him, you hear
It's
that
too late.
clod.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know what I mean? That slow.
But
like,
when he
march
didn't want to
into
be
the
heard,
light.
you couldn't hear him.
Exactly.
Oh, and I did
Except
appreciate.
his bike was also silent, which
Right.
doesn't make sense.
I did appreciate his little
It's a
Charger,
hybrid bike.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
his little Charger Batmobile.
Yeah.
Because I'll say this,
American
I've
muscle.
never been a fan of like I've always been a fan of gadgets and stuff. Like I'm a huge 007 fan, but I've never been a fan of like the fact that he always has this very unrealistic space mobile that just drives
What's
on
the
land.
name one was more realistic?
Yeah, in the Dark
Knight one was
Dark Knight
realistic.
movies,
Right,
those
well,
were
yeah, I
real,
know, that's
like,
what, but like that's
Yeah,
I
but then
appreciate
that
this
bike hopped out
iteration
the
of
cut,
like.
Oh, you mean like not like the first one? First one was cold. That might be. I had the toys though.
Oh, I
Yeah,
did
that's
love
true. I mean,
when that
yeah.
bike hopped out that
Yeah.
car. I was like, oh, this shit's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it realistic?
Nah.
No.
But it's a fucking
Yeah.
comic book.
But it's-
movie. I don't need
That's
realism.
James Bond.
I'm
type
looking at a
stuff, though.
rich
Right.
man in a bat
James Bond would
costume.
have a car.
Right.
Like, would have a bike come
Listen,
out of a
and
car,
him flying and then
Yeah.
fumbling the landing.
Yeah.
Oh my
Because
god.
that kind of made sense. Because like
Yo.
you
And he
ain't,
got up like,
you
oh,
ain't
shit.
did this enough yet
Well,
to
yeah,
like
exactly. That's like it looked like the first time he had done that. We were
Right.
like,
Yeah.
all right, we're finna try it.
Prototype.
Yeah,
Right.
right. He was like,
Hope
all right,
this works.
well,
Yeah, right.
right.
He's like, he doesn't
I
have
hope
Lucius
nobody
Fox yet.
shoots my bubble suit.
But to
Yeah,
me,
right.
that's why the movie was so good because it's
Yep.
young.
yeah, he's
new
still figuring it out.
Batman. And they showed
And he makes so many mistakes.
in the,
Yeah,
in the,
that's true.
in the
Which is
fights,
cool.
The
Yeah.
fights were amazing.
Yeah,
the fights
were
were
great.
very
The
Daredevil.
fights
like.
were very
Yeah,
good.
that's what
Yeah.
I was just
with
gonna
the-
say. That
listen,
that's what it
way
reminded
they
me
shot
of.
the dark hallway fight
Yeah.
with
That's
the
a-
guns
that's very
randomly going
Daredevil.
off. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this speaks to my soul.
Yeah, and he got hit a couple times.
Yep.
But his armor's good enough where it's like,
Yeah.
you know.
Until he shot him square in his chest with that shotgun.
Yeah,
He said,
He laid out.
I'm out for the count.
He
laid out. They
Even
almost
the
took the
shit in
mask
the
off
head,
of him. Yeah.
That wasn't even a shotgun. That was like a big game hunting rifle.
Yeah.
That was
damn.
Put
That's
holes in
something
the
you
dude.
put
shit
a
out of
buffalo
that boy.
down with.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he was gonna shoot him right in the jaw. Like,
Yeah.
I see where the armor ain't.
Right.
Like, this makes sense.
But
And
No,
then he was like, listen, Catwoman, I can't even get up to
Listen,
help you right
listen,
now. I don't
Bat-
even know what to tell you.
Batman had a little plot armor because he was played out a couple times in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
He
had that little
he had a
adrenaline
little bit
shot.
of plot.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
even
The
yeah,
adrenaline
no, well,
was
let's talk.
good though.
It was cool,
Yeah.
right?
That's
yeah.
You
that's
said the what?
The adrenaline
That's
shot.
probably the
Oh,
most.
yeah.
That's
That
the
was
most
fire.
Batman
That was
thing
fire.
in this whole
That
movie.
is.
I'll
Because
say
he would have some shit like that.
So
Right.
Shark back shark repellent type of shit.
Yeah. Just in case.
this is my hot take about the ending of the movie, where I appreciated that, like, the multiple Riddler copycat fight. I like, that's the part I like.
Yeah.
But the last hour of this movie is a little weird to me
Wow. What?
because they resolve it.
benevolent.
Say what?
Huh?
Say what?
What?
It's weird because y'all don't think it's weird that, so of course the Riddler gets what he wants done.
No, he
they
doesn't
get
get
to
what
these
he wants.
fights. Well, I
I mean,
mean,
he did, sort of.
mostly.
No,
but-
he didn't get what he want.
Say what?
The Riddler doesn't get what he wants.
Right, but what I'm saying is that he destroyed all the different pillars,
Yeah.
let the water in. All of them are in this.
Can
Shield
I
the
jump in
gangster.
real quick? Listen, you strong, independent black woman. When a black man tries to save your ass, but you like, nah, I gotta.
Red
That-
pill. Red pill.
No, that ain't red pill. Stay your ass where I said stay your ass, because I got your best interest in mind.
Yeah. I thought
Every
that was.
time a black dude tell you something, it's not him trying to keep you down.
Yeah.
Got out there, got your ass shot, and luckily it wasn't a fatal wound
Yo,
that's true.
that was
because
hilarious.
you wanted to be tough.
Because,
Now's
like,
not the time to be tough, lady.
yeah.
What part are you talking about?
That was
When
when
the
she was
mayor
like,
got
when,
shot.
When Gordon
Oh,
took the
Gordon
mayor.
was like,
and she was like, yo, you need to lay low.
Yeah.
You
We
need to
gotta
lay low. And
leave.
she's like,
But
Enough people are-
in her defense, she also
The no
knows
defense.
that the police are corrupt in a general sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
but, yeah.
So if a cop that I know comes from an area that's super corrupt tells me to do something, he's got a little less
But
weight
the
with
city
me.
is flooding at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not in a vacuum. If it was
Yeah.
in a vacuum, I would
Like, I was
Right,
also-
but
oh,
she knew
yeah.
that somebody needed to tell people where to go and what to do. So she's
You
like,
get
okay,
out of here
I'm the
first
acting mayor.
and
I
let
should
one of
probably
us
be
do
the
it.
person to do
No,
it.
You go first, and one
But
of
he
us
didn't
will
tell
do it.
her that. He just told her
To lay
that
I
low.
don't
she gotta
have.
go.
I don't have to tell you that strong, independent black woman.
You know what though? No, but what
you
I'm
are
saying,
you are number one on my mind. Ain't that what you want? Ain't that what you
No,
want?
what I'm
Don't
saying
you want a
is
strong
you-
African
no,
king
but here's
to
the
protect
thing.
his queen?
you would
Ain't
judge
that what
it,
you want?
but you would judge it.
Forever.
you would judge a king for leaving the war, right?
no, protect
No.
him at all costs. You play chess,
No.
right?
Well, I
You
guess
play
maybe
chess,
that's
right?
maybe
One
a more-
move, that's all you get to make. Make the right
True.
one move as a kid. Is it her? She
Really,
gotta
the-
go.
the king-
She gotta
the
get
king
out of
gonna
there.
go out first if it's a warrior country
Yeah,
or
you
it's
gotta
for morale.
get
Yeah.
low.
Otherwise, he's the general.
Get
calling
out
the
of
shots
there,
in the back.
I think that she saw herself like that, in a
Yeah.
sense of like, if I'm gonna lead, I can't be the first one gone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, the first
That was that, but
No,
you could
but
tell
I
that
see
that
the-
was her mentality.
No,
if I
no.
am going to lead, I
she
cannot
wanted to
be
save
the
the
first
world.
one gone.
I'm trying to save
Because
your ass,
that's-
and you
But
want to
that-
save the
well,
No,
world.
no,
Well,
but because
let's-
that was the problem with all the former leaders was they were all about themselves.
Yeah,
And she was
well-
like, I can't even give people the idea that I'm going to be that type of leader in this
true.
type of city.
But
Yeah,
that's
which is,
but
I mean, I think ideally,
But that
you are-
shot gives her street cred.
I shouldn't.
I'm glad she got shot.
well, I don't disagree with
Listen,
you.
it's dangerous. We need to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's all it should take.
Yeah,
no,
I
that's
don't.
not all it takes when you have to be the leader of a city.
Nigga, when the city is flooding,
Yeah, I don't.
But it
And I
sends
say I
a
have
bad
to-
message
it
if
doesn't send a
everybody
bad
else
message.
is in danger
I
and
agree with
I'm the
Chris.
only
Well,
person
I'll-
that ends
I'll
up
say
safe.
this.
agree with
Nah.
I don't disagree with your interpretation of her perspective. I'll say that, like, I think about when JFK got shot in public.
Mhm.
what the morale did for the entire government and what it ushered in after. Like, if she would have, like, hypothetically, if she would have passed after getting shot, like, in that would have, the whole city would have went into, it already is, I think, now in like some sort of anarchy. Whatever anarchy it is now would have been 20 times worse, knowing that the only form of like leadership is completely gone. Trying to
and that's why
stand
you
up.
save that person.
So I don't disagree with what you said. I'm just like,
but from her perspective, and then him not giving her,
she's
like
Joan of Arc, okay?
Right?
No, but also it was like, all you told me was don't go out there. Not
I'm going down with the
we'll
right.
do it.
It's dangerous,
Going
but it's
out in the
dangerous.
blaze of glory.
Don't go out
tell
there. It's
me-
dangerous.
But say then it's like, okay, we still got to figure out a plan. They're talking about. She's over here with these other people that are part of the situation, talking with the police that are handling the scenario, saying, okay, we need to shut the doors. And she's like,
Chris,
but you said, no,
Chris,
listen to me.
I'm
But you need to, but we need to shut the doors because it's gonna flood, and so we have to tell the people to do this, and we can't accept any more people in here. And they're trying to figure all this stuff out. And she's like, okay, let me go out on the podium and try and tell people as much as I can to move to this area, blah blah blah. Then some random cop that's not a part of this conversation comes up to you,
The chief,
while you're on your way to the stage.
random cop,
Right?
You gotta
well,
respect him.
right. But I don't know if she knows that.
She has to. She's the mayor.
Oh yeah, then maybe she does know that.
To be fair,
But this cop comes up to her while she's on her way to the
heat of the
podium
moment,
after
right.
talking to the
Who's
other
this Negro?
police officers handling the situation,
Apart from
talking
me, sir.
about we need to get you out of here because it's dangerous. It's like, no shit, Sherlock, it's flooding. Of course it's dangerous. But we just talked about it. I need to go out on stage and tell everybody to whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's dangerous for you.
Chris,
without giving me more information.
If I tell
fuck
you
him.
don't go somewhere or go somewhere else, and you don't listen to me, if you don't get killed, I'm gonna slap you myself. Because it's dangerous. Don't go there.
But I mean, for us, you've garnered a certain amount of trust with me that I would just trust your word for you to say that to me. She don't have that with the police officers in the city to just be like, okay.
Well, I don't know. I just think of like how the president moves, right? Like even the president of the United States. As soon as like Secretary of Defense is like, yo, it's getting hot right now in the White House. Go. Get out of here. Secret Service agents is right at the door. Follow them. I'm not asking for a debrief. I don't need to know why. Like, I'm the president. Like, I don't need to die
it has
right
to
now.
do with
like
your trust in
but
them.
he's
but you don't know. Not necessarily as a president.
In charge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's in charge of her security detail. Period.
Yeah.
So you trust him when you was just gonna be out there talk regular, but now you don't trust me and what I got set up.
Like, I'm letting you know it's dangerous. But no, I think it's interesting. I wasn't like
you didn't finish with your
I wasn't a fan of like
they're
like last 45 minutes to an hour of the movie that it's just kind of like him resolving himself. So like he hops on this like electric cable cord thing. You think he dies, he just gets up.
I don't think anybody thought he died.
Well, did you think that there was a risk for him to do that at all? Like,
falling,
I mean,
like hopping on the
falling 40 feet into the water, yes.
After getting shot in the chest the way he did.
Right.
And then it's just sort of like de-escalate the action and all of that sort of stuff. Just de-escalates.
You gotta resolve the movie,
but it's all in the same scene. It's like, bro,
no, but I think
you know what I mean? Like,
because I mean that moment is the first time in the movie really that Batman recognizes, hey, what I'm doing is I need to save those people. Like, and if I don't, because you see the water level rising, you see the electricity, and if that is still connected and that electricity hits that water, every single one of people's dead.
Right.
And so he realizes, all right, I might potentially have to sacrifice myself to save those people. So he cuts it, which obviously is symbolic of him like reaching out and being like this at the end of the movie, the hope symbol. And like him falling then, and then he's leading the people out. Like,
the end was essential for him to actually separate himself from the Riddler.
Yeah.
Because that's why when the Riddler lookalike says, I am vengeance, and it's like, I've been acting like these dudes the entire first part of this movie. If I don't do the helping people part and I only focus on the punishing people part, I am just like the Riddler, which is why he got that impression. Because I did no work actually trying to help people. I only punish people. It's so like it's like if I'm going to be a hero and I'm going to actually affect change, I need to be both.
That's why the
Yeah,
thing
I
about
just thought-
the foundation being the thing for money laundering was so potent.
Right.
The
The hope. What's it called?
Yeah, the
Relief.
renewal.
Yeah, the
renewal.
renewal.
Yeah,
renewal.
that's why that was so potent because it's like me just saying, I don't have to worry about that shit. Actually
Created the
hurt.
problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just feel like that didn't have to be 3 hours. That could have been like 2:15.
It didn't feel long to me.
It didn't feel long to me either.
It didn't feel, but it could have been truncated.
No,
they could have
it
truncated
couldn't
that
have.
resolve
I don't
part.
think you take
It
anything
couldn't
else
For
have.
out
sure.
of the movie.
It
I don't
couldn't.
For
think
sure.
I couldn't see anything that I'd take out. Honestly.
No, me neither.
That last 30 minutes could have been
So
short.
But how
That's
do
all
you,
up.
but
That's
di-
40. Actually, 45 minutes an hour.
But
I'm
how
sure
do
to
you
it, but
show his transition as a person
Right.
and a hero then without that last 30 minutes?
I think that like that last
He
part
wants his
where
Batman
he's
grimy, okay?
No. I'm just saying that last part where he jumps into the water, does
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. You could just dialogue it all the way out. Like you could just monologue it all the way out
No, you
from
can't.
without having to do all of that.
Yeah, but that's not interesting.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
you
I don't
can't
know that
dialogue
you
that
can
out.
do that.
Not dialogue. I said monologue.
You can't monologue that out either.
Yeah, sure you can.
When it in
He
say
had-
That's
all
what
of
he
them.
did. That's what he did anyways. That's what he was doing. And he's just showing him randomly taking people out of the water. And I'm
Because
like,
he became a hero
bro,
in
so
that
we
moment.
just so act like all this stuff ain't happening right now, like in
He's-
this same space.
But but in the past he would have just let somebody else handle
Yeah.
that part.
Right.
He would have
became a
only
part
went.
of
He
helping
would have
people,
only
too.
worried about the Riddler dudes and then thought his job was done.
Yeah, no, I don't. Again, I feel you. I still feel like that didn't need an hour. Like they didn't need an hour to resolve that part because that's pretty much from when the mayor gets shot all the way until that, like when he's helping people out of water. That's like essentially a third of the movie almost. Where it's like the first 2 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes is like the essential story, the mystery of the Riddler, doing all of that sort of stuff. I just felt this could have been a little shorter in the end. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Here with it. We here with it. Let's rate it. 1 to 10. No sevens.
I don't think anybody's gonna give it a 7. Maybe you, but
You
I
gonna
like
get
the movie a
Catwoman
lot.
4.
I like the movie a lot.
Continue the
oh,
streak
you gonna give Catwoman a 4.
of the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah, right. Yeah, actually,
Listen,
I'm
when
not.
he
I'm not
talked
the
about-
woman
no,
hater. It's you. This
when he
episode.
said-
I'm a
No.
woman hater.
The mayor.
When he said when he wanted
I'm
to
not
talk
hating
about
the woman.
when he said he wanted to talk about Miss Marvel, and when we were all hyped about it, he was kind of like,
No,
I was like-
no. I like Miss
yeah, I
Marvel.
figured.
I like Miss Marvel. I see. This is a narrative that must stop today.
You gotta stop it yourself.
No
You
way.
find the power within yourself.
Find your Batman.
Be the change you want to see, man.
Right. I want to see you in a flooded area leading a bunch of women away from
torch.
tragedy with your role flare.
No,
to
not with that.
symbolize your change.
Not with the background, Batman background music playing.
man.
This
As long as
music.
one of them is ScarJo, we're good.
Right.
That's hilarious.
We got a rating. Who wants to go first?
I'll do a 9. I was gonna be like 8.75, but I'm doing a 9 because I think that like I said, I think the romance in it was written poorly.
Mhm. I would agree. I would 9 pretty much for the same way. That dynamic was just
Yeah.
weird in it.
Yeah. Everything else
But
was
everything
good.
else was great.
Yeah.
Did they spend they didn't spend that much time together either? Like,
No,
or to build a romance in the
well, they
movie.
spent actually
I mean,
a
they did.
significant
You're
amount
right,
of time
yeah.
together.
But face to face time
But
to
not
build a
the-
romance. What I mean,
But
like,
not to build to build like a flirty relationship, but not
Right.
like
Yeah.
I care about you type
Yeah.
relationship.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably also give it like a 9 or like a 9.5. Because like I said, this is my favorite Batman movie now. So
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the casting. I loved the grittiness of the movie. I loved the story. I loved the Riddler was amazing. I liked Robert Pattinson a lot as Batman. So
Yeah, he kind of. I mean,
I'm digging it.
he kind of. I knew he was gonna do well, but it also it was really cool to see him as Batman. Like I compared to all the other Batmans that exist in history, and I'm like, oh man, this dude
Yeah.
really made a new kind of Batman in the sense that he didn't have to like necessarily copy off anybody.
Some of those angsty teen moments had me like, nigga, I will fuck you.
He said, "Who? The what?
Right.
The angsty teen.
What,
moments.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. Especially in the beginning,
I was like, I
he's
will
like,
punch
"You got
in
this
your
meet with
jaw.
You're not my dad.
or even like even
My
in the
dad,
beginning,
Alfred. You're not my dad.
like when he was like got to meet with the hedge fund people or the investors or whatever they were, and he's like,
I don't care
I don't
about
care
any
about
of that.
that. It's
I don't care.
bro, you
But
don't.
just with the bang flick.
Right.
That's all
He
I
was a
was
scene
saying.
kid
He
for a
definitely
second.
had black suit
Yeah.
Spider-Man vibes.
Yeah,
with
he
the-
did. Yeah,
He
for sure.
took that helmet off with the wet hair and stuff.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
was like,
Like, bro, if you don't call it
bruh.
He looked like he was about to start singing Green Day songs.
but he was a unique
Nah, he was
Batman.
like
Like
Evanescence.
he was like no other Batman for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's like. Don't get me wrong. Like there are ones who are better Bruce Waynes and better Batmans, but I feel like as a balanced young Batman, I think he did a good job. So with that, I think I'll go 9. I don't do it for the Catwoman thing. I do it because I feel like it was too long.
The 1 point was Catwoman.
Didn't hate the movie, didn't hate where it went, but it
Yeah.
didn't need to be that long, in my opinion.
You remember that, if you're listening, you remember that rap conversation from before? I feel that. I sense that from you about the ending. The benevolent part.
What? Okay. All right. And again, narratives.
Don't
But hey, you the one. I mean, how am I getting this judgment from you? Like,
Who,
come on.
me?
Yeah.
Me that wants to see, like, because I'm honest about it. I'm honest about it. I don't mind if the world burns just a little bit.
That's true. You don't.
But I mean, great movie. I enjoyed it. April did enjoy it. She didn't like the ending either. But we really did enjoy the movie. It was a lot to pull from it. Like a lot of talking pieces, the Zoe Kravitz stuff that we didn't really touch on as far as like the urban stuff from the Dark Knight thing. Y'all hear about that, right? I'm not gonna dive all the way into it.
About her not being
Like she
able
didn't
to
get
audition.
audition because
Yeah.
they weren't going for like an urban look
Oh yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, whatever.
yeah, exactly.
Like her dad's a rock star. Her mom's an actress. Like
Right.
she's not that urban. She's black.
No.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Like
right.
that's what she is.
Right.
She's not urban.
It's like, tell her what it is. The casting director was racist.
Right. It is what it is.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
man.
facts.
That's any last comments on Batman?
Yes. DC, all the movies you make that are made like actual movies do well. A la Joker, a la this Batman movie.
You're right.
Try not to. Let's not focus on the action movies stuff, please. Let the DC.
Well, I mean, Black Adam's coming out, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
DC has better like stories for that too.
their
Like,
stories have all.
Marvel's built for camp, I think,
Yeah.
a little bit more, which is funny because I think the DC like live action television show stuff was campy, like with the Batman
Yeah.
one. But like,
But
I
that's
don't
because
know,
they had to
it
change
lends
the comic
itself.
book to cater to kids because 1930s Batman was shooting niggas.
Right.
So they had to change it up. When the comic book code came out,
He's
they
like,
had
you
to
thought it
change
was the
it
Batarang? No, this is the Gatorang.
This is Vengeance and the Nine. Like, what do you?
That's what Vengeance in the Nine.
Oh my god.
That's
Oh my
hilarious.
gosh! All right, my bad.
On
That
that
was my
note,
fault.
yeah, right
I
before-
didn't mean to. Right, I didn't mean to open up the can of worms because we
That was
we
funny.
still gotta what you read and watch it and all that stuff. So,
That
yeah,
was funny.
y'all know the slogan: "Stay colorful, peace."